Good morning, my friends. We are in the kitchen and we're about to make our first loaf of bread using fresh milled grain in our Wonder Mill. Now, I have been doing a lot of studying and I'm a long ways from being able to share with you guys compounded of what I have learned. As I practice, as I learn, I will be able to share more defined information. But for now, we're going with the basics. A lot of you have let me know you do have a Wonder Mill or a grain mill of some kind. So y'all are very experienced. I am not, but we're going to do this together. I will say there is one ingredient that I will be using moving forward. It just hasn't come in. But I was told to look for lecithin, Lecithin. I had to look at my little footnote. That's going to yield that store-bought soft white bread, like a sunbeam, bunny bread, and so forth. That is what I am trying to perfect. It's going to take a few loaves and practice, but I'm determined to perfect that because I want the end result to be tasty, to have the consistency that we are accustomed to. And like I said, I've made homemade breads, but we usually use that for, like, if the kids are over, butter it, you know, a special thing. Now, we do use homemade rolls. I do make homemade rolls. There again, I'm going to perfect that down the road. But right now, I am trying to learn, starting from grain to the table of fresh, soft, white bread. And the lecithin, y'all, I practiced this for 3 days, this word, is going to give me that texture, okay? But the goal that I am trying to reach, the ultimate goal, is to make our lives much healthier. I did not realize until I went in that rabbit hole, and I'm so glad that I did, and I started sharing it with some of my friends. What are we missing, especially moving forward after Buddy's open heart surgery? What we were missing was the nutrients and the vitamins. And you say, well, you can get that from your fruits and your vegetables, supplements. Yes, you can. Or you can stay with the fruits and vegetables, no extra vitamins, no extra nutrients, because it's all right now in here. And it's going to be hard for me to hold with one hand. Many of you know that I just had hand surgery. But right here is where it's at. Because you see, once it's broke down to flour for the consumer, you've lost everything but the starch, okay? Then when it goes into the bread, they put a preservative in it. Now you're getting this foreign preservative that our bodies originally was not accustomed to. So by making and mastering the bread texture and the taste that we enjoy, I'm also bringing back the nutrients, the minerals, and the vitamins that have been depleted in our bodies, all of our bodies for many years. I just did not know that. Now, we have started a healthier journey, meaning, you know, no burger outside for lunch, okay? He's making different choices. He does take leftovers from here. We're not a family who cooks with preservatives. That was a plus for us. So that was easy. But I had to watch the starches. We got to get cholesterol down. So we're tweaking some of the meals to accomplish that. But who knew that a lot of the answer, not all, but a lot of the answer is right here. So then as I researched making his life the healthiest it can be, I also learned for me with my RA that, hey, this is going to help me. Inflammation, swelling, gut health, cleanse the liver. And I was like, whoa, that's all on my side, you see? So I was like, okay, this is now going to benefit both of us. But I will say that when you heard me say lecithin, there is two types. There's a soy which I refuse to use because it can change and alter the balance of our hormones, especially in women. And many of you that has followed me know that I stay strong with the hormones, strong with the B's, strong with the D's. That is what keeps my cycle perfectly running, okay? So I chose and opted for the sunflower. I think that's going to be where the answer is with all my research, but you'll have to do your research. So what's coming in is I ordered a decent sized bag of the sunflower lecithin. And look it up comparing what soy does, especially for women. I try to avoid soy at all cost, just because I just think that women and men are made differently. And as we get older, for whatever reason, when we lose that natural estrogen, testosterone, our B's and our D's, we have depleted our mind, our functioning of our metabolism, and I'm speaking for myself. The bloatiness that women have, it's usually hormonal related. So if you can cut soy out of your diet, just that in itself, in my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, you're going to see results. But today is about using the Wonder Meal and making a loaf of bread. So this throughout the day, in each step, I'll be bringing you back. But right now, we're about to do this. And I'm just using hard white wheat, okay? We're not going to even venture into the reds. We don't like wheat bread, guys. It's just us, okay? We are just plain white bread eaters. But I'll tell you, I don't feel like I'm cheating if I just want a slice of bread and slather butter on it, because in that one slice just took 3 vitamins off the table for me. Vitamins cost, depending on the brand. Well, now that I can learn to do this, I just removed 3 of those. And that's about $30 a month. It's about $10 a month if you break it down. That's $30 back into my household and put into this. So you see, it's going to come back to us, not just financially, but health-wise. Okay, well, I can't cross this finger. Cross your fingers. We're going to do this. We're a hand and a half, so we're missing half a hand, but we're going to make it work, guys. Wonder Meal meets Miss Lippy. I did cheat, though, because I'm not sure I told y'all the other day that I did write down, because it came with a great book. And let me share this real quick. Oops. Here's the book from Bread Becker's. And the first note that I wrote in here was 1 cup of grain equals 1 1/4 to 1.5 cups of flour. So everything I read, even in this book, said basically start off with 4 cups. And that's what I did. Now, it was a rainy morning, which would affect bread, so I would have to use more. But now that the sun's out, humidity has dropped some, which I'm glad. I'm going to stick with just 4 cups of grain, and let's see if that doesn't yield me my 4.5 cups moving forward. I think I did the math right. We'll know when we get to that point, won't we? So here goes. I'm backing you up. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Okay, I've got the camera angled. Now, I did have to have help this morning to make sure that I could snap this on and off. This is the key, because when it's making flour, if this lid is not properly snapped on, you're going to have flour everywhere. And it came with an extra filter. And all we did was undo the hose that snaps here, and we insert it into the machine. Now, here we go. Like I said, y'all have to work with me because, you know, I'm not able to fully use this hand. So we're going to plug it in. It is plugged in. Now, on this dial, it says pastry, bread, and coarse. I'm choosing the bread setting. The pastry is what I'm looking for down the road, and that would be with a soft white grain. But we're going to do bread. Now, everything I read said to turn it on first, and my dear friend said hold on to it because it is a motor. Not that it's going to jump, but, you know, it can kind of move a hair. So, I'm going to turn it on, start feeding my 4 cups that's sitting over here, and it's going to be loud. So, what I may do is start it, mute, and then turn the camera back on to see it finish. So here goes. We're gonna turn it on. I know that it was loud, but everything I read, when it starts making that high-pitched sound, that tune, you know that it has milled it. I do have a pastry brush. I'm still trying to learn what they meant by, because you don't wash this machine. I think you just maybe pick it up and turn it upside down to brush it. I'm still not there, and I'm going to have help to lift this up. But you want a true pastry brush, one that the hairs are not coming off in your food, okay? So we've got our pastry brush. I'm going to leave that for later. Okay, I am going to try to unhook this one-handed. Oh, there we go. Not bad. I didn't make a mess at all. I do see a little bit of flour here. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but it just makes sense, guys. And y'all can see everything that I'm doing. Okay. Now, I'm going to slide this out the way for now. Okay. Now, everything I read says to tap it so you're not lifting a lid and flour going everywhere. Okay, let's get this turned back. Just like that. Now, here goes. Hope I can open it one-handed. There we go. Holy cow. Wow. Now, I am going to brush out the remainder of flour. Okay, let's feel it. Okay, it's not as soft as, say, your all-purpose flour or bread flour, but that's where that lecithin comes in to play, I believe. I know a lot of people add the gluten flour because that kind of acts as a mesh, you know, stretches it. I'm not doing that. But it's absolutely beautiful. Very few grain. And I would be doing this off camera too, guys, because I'm learning right with you. I am very pleased. It's warm. Now, I might have made too much, but we're going to see. Remember, I started off with 4 cups. That smells good. I've never known flour to have a smell. This does, but in a... That smells like bread. I know, crazy, but it does. Okay, so now we're fixing it now. There is recipes in the book. I'm going to try a recipe of mine. It is not going to hurt anything. Remember, we're learning. I should go with what the book says, but the book is kind of similar, kind of not, but I want to go with mine, because I like the taste that it yields. So I want to try it with this. As long as we end up with 2 pounds of dough, because that's what we need for the pan that I'm using, I'll be in the ballpark. And if I'm over 2 pounds of dough, I'm just going to take that difference off, hand roll, rise, and bake off some rolls. So I'm not losing anything. But I do need 2 pounds of dough, because I am going to use my Pullman 13 by 4 by 4 bread pan. Because there again, not just looking for the taste, the texture, but also the shape of the bread. I am trying to perfect sandwich bread, the square sandwich bread, because that's my husband's favorite. So if I can get 95%, we're happy. But we're going to be happy with this one because we eating this. We may have to have a gallon of water to choke it down, but you can bet all the work I'm fixing to do, we fix to eat this. It may be French toast. Okay, the first thing we want to do is get a nice clean bowl. I am actually going to use my KitchenAid bowl to process everything. I've got 1.5 cups of warm water in this bowl. This is out of my tap. It's about 110 degrees to 100, maybe 15. I could, temp test, but I've done this a lot with my hot water. But it's 1.5 cups. We've got to activate the yeast. And to the water, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of my yeast. Now, I like the Red Star Quick Rise yeast. I keep it in the freezer. In order to get that to activate well, it's got to have a little bit of sugar. And I am going to use 2 tablespoons of raw sugar. We're going to stir it around. We're just going to let this sit here and see if it's alive, see if it's active. I like mine to sit about 15 minutes to really get a crest of bubbles on it, and you know your yeast is good. Had I started adding all my other ingredients, that's a waste. But by just doing the water and the little bit of sugar, I'm not losing much if my yeast is no good. So about 10-15 minutes, we'll see where we're at. Within 10 minutes, we achieved what I was looking for. My yeast is very, very active. So now we got to move to the star of the show, which, like I said, I'm hoping to get 4 cups, okay? I'm probably going to go, I won't go more than 4 cups starting out. I may have to add a little bit more because our weather is iffy. So here goes. And I may have calculated it wrong. But I don't want to pack it. It would be just like if I was making my bread or anything that I make. I don't pack my flour. Now, a lot of people weigh it out in grams. I'm just going to do the old-fashioned method and just kind of make sure I've got a pretty good cup. So I need 4 cups. If I end up with leftover flour, it's going to deplete about 80% of its nutrients over the next 48 hours. So what I'll do is I'll add this little bit of flour in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer. Yes, I'm going to lose a little bit of nutrients, but I don't want it to go to waste. Okay, there's our 4 cups. I think I actually, oh boy. Oh, I ended up making 5.5 cups. So my measurement was completely off. I could have actually done 3 cups of grain. I've got to make a note of that. Okay, my measurement was definitely off. That's the good part about learning. This is optional too. This is 2 tablespoons of dried powdered milk. Okay, remember I'm doing my recipe and then I'll broaden out from there. Now, some would add salt at this point. As long as that salt is not connected to that yeast, because it will break it down, you're fine. But you see, I wasn't going to add mine until I knew that that yeast was fully covered. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. Never forget your salt, guys. You'll never have that bread taste like bread if you omit the salt. And I'm just using a Redmond salt, 2 teaspoons. I'm going to bring you over to the mixer once the dough starts coming together. I'm going to start off on speed 1, then I'm going to increase it to speed 2, and I won't go any higher than that. But it gives me time to get it going and pick you guys up and move you over there. I always put a towel over it so I don't have flour everywhere. Y'all, I forgot my butter. I said some's missing. I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Not hot, it's just melted. Or you can use 1/3 cup of oil. Avocado, olive oil, your choice. I'm going to do the butter this time because it does make the better rolls. But I almost forgot it, so I got to add this to the mixture. Now we're in business. Oh, I forgot to lock my lid. I'm going to let it sit here and knead about 6 to 8 minutes, guys. Okay, I let it knead. I looked at the clock, about 6.5 minutes. Now I'm going to reserve this. We're going to let our dough rise in here. Right now, yeah, you guys can see. I'm trying to see where we're at. It is soft, not as soft, like I said, with the flour. I really want to work it. I'm going to see if I can do something with this hand. I don't think I can. Okay, I'm not going to be able to work it much, so I'm just going to try and form it the best I can into a ball. Who says Lippy's not determined? 1.5 hands, and I'm determined to learn to make the best white sandwich bread. Now, I do know that it does have a wheat-looking color. I was prepared for that, guys. As long as it doesn't taste like... Now, we like wheat bread or rye if it's certain types of sandwiches, but we are just white bread eaters. Okay. I like that. I like the feel of it. I think once it sits and rises... and I'm going to end up with way more than 2 pounds. Okay, to our bowl, I'm just going to spray it with avocado oil. I'm going to put it down in here. Kind of spray the top. Move it around a little bit. Make sure it's coated good. It is a dense bread, I will tell you that, but I might have used too much flour. One more squirt. Now I got to clean this. Because I do not want this thing drying out, guys. Oh, I think it's going to be fine. Okay, perfect. I am going to cover it. I'm actually going to set it in my oven. Temp is not on, but I'm going to put the oven light on. I'm thinking 2 hours. I don't know. My other bread, it's ready in 1.5 hours. So 1.5 hours, 2 hours, I'm going to see if it doubles inside. Now, in size, you can put saran wrap. I'm just using this towel here that I was using, and it's fine for me to use like that. So into the oven with the oven light. The oven's not on now, and we're going to see how well it does, and I got to clean some stuff up, and I'm going to measure this out and see how much I went over. Y'all want to know how much? Exactly 1.5 cups, which tells me I should have only measured out 3 cups of the grain. Because 1 cup of grain will yield you 1 1/4 to 1.5 cups of flour. So I know next time I'm doing 3 cups, and I'm going to make a mental note in my red book for that. I get my little brush, and I'm not going to wash this. There's no need. It's got a lid on it. Matter of fact, let me show y'all something that was told to me, and it is very true. If you're considering getting one of these, I'm going to drop the camera. I'm going to show you something very, very important. Okay, I took my pastry brush, and I dusted out all the residual flour. But let me get that lid. Here it is. Let me dust this off too real quick. Now the advice given to me, which makes all the sense in the world, I actually tested to see if I could get this lid off and on. And it actually will snap. It snap hard. If this lid is not snapped on well, when that grain is milling, turning into flour, flour is going to go everywhere. So I want you to listen to that. You see how it snapped on? Very, very easy. You don't have to wash this every time. But what I didn't show you guys is because I had wrote my steps down. This is actually the lid part, okay? You have to take this off, and what I did is I just run my pastry brush around it. It cleaned it. It got in the grooves, okay? And then I'm just gonna line this up because these have an arrow. Now I gotta find the arrow, which is right here, and I just snap it on in place. And now my lid is clean. I just didn't want to leave you guys hanging because some of you said that y'all were looking into these. It's time, y'all. I've got to get it out of the oven, and let's see what we're looking at. Okay, we're going down. I did preheat my oven to 350. Oh, wow. But I sat and I thought about this, and I thought, it is heavy. It is a heavy dough. It's going to be more of a dense, not just because of the ingredient that I have ordered. Oh, it's pretty. But I also think the next time I am actually going to mill, and I'm going to let my flour sit about 2 hours. Because, well, let me drop you down. Because remember when I was pulling it? Oh, it's relaxed a lot now. It's a lot different. Look at this, y'all. Okay, you can see where my fingers was when I was talking. Not bad. It is wanting to, let me do it like this. It's wanting to tear. You don't want that. But what I was saying is, I think, and this is just my brain, okay? I'm thinking letting the flour rest a couple of hours. Boy, I want to put this hand in there. And I honestly believe lessening the flour from 4 cups to 3.5 may give me, oh, my scale is about to die. Let me turn it off. I got to charge it. Less flour is going to yield me a much softer dough. So I do know that this is more dense than what I like, but that's okay. Okay, what I'm going to do before I do anything, because I'm going to try to mash it out. I didn't think about charging my scale. Yeah, y'all can see. I want to get 2 pounds. Let's see where we're at. I'm happy, 115.9, okay? I had this much dough left over. That's fine, that'll give me a roll. Okay, we're gonna set this out of the way. And I am going to attempt on flattening, ouch, this out. I may have to get my rolling pin. I hope not. But see, it's springing too much to me, which tells me it's going to be a much denser bread, and that's okay, because I had no clue what I was doing. But because I've got experience with just bread making, I can tell that it needs to be able to stretch itself and hold. And I'm gonna have to get the rolling pin. Okay. I'm gonna have to use one hand. I don't know if this one can, oh, no, one hand. I am not quite two-handed yet. And what I'm doing is, this is gonna help get some of that air out. And I know some of you experienced with the milling is probably getting you a cup of coffee or something going, oh my Lord, what is Lippy doing to that dough? Lippy's working that dough. Trying to stretch it as, oh, see how it's tearing? Yeah, we're gonna have a very dense bread, guys. But we're gonna work with it like that. Now this is not in my recipe, or anybody else's, but I'm thinking by adding some oil to this, it's going to allow me to work it just a little bit. It's not going to hurt the bread at all. And that was avocado. Okay. All right. Okay. And that's what I was trying to go for, is I wanted to try to get, get the length, or should I say the width, of my Pullman pan. Now, I could do this in my two regular bread pans. Y'all have seen me use those. But what I'm trying to do is mimic a loaf of sandwich bread. So I need to work with learning this and the amount of dough going into this, okay? So I'm gonna start rolling just like this. You see how it wants to not stick? Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a dense bread. I can tell y'all. Okay. Trying to keep it where y'all can see. I won't be able to tuck it in. Ouch. But I might be able to fold it under. Oh yeah, it's kind of dry, guys. So, there's something I'm going to... Don't do this, okay? Go by my recipe, yes. Using bread flour all-purpose. But if you're making your grain flour, yeah. Don't do... Well, you professionals, y'all probably already know what not to do. But what I am going to do... Because, see, it don't even want to pinch and hold. So, this is trial. This is a much bigger end than this end. I'm just trying to fold it under. Ouch. Because I don't want it lopsided. Now, I'm not spraying my pan. You never spray your Pullman pans. But I'm actually trying to put some moisture in this thing. It may take 2 gallons of water eating this stuff. But it smells like bread's supposed to smell, if that makes any sense. But I don't think you're supposed to be squirting oil on it. But in this case, I just feel the need. We're going to get it in there. Oh, I done pretty good with the length. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mash it in. So it kind of helps form it more than a French loaf bread, which it should, because it's going to rise into this bread pan. But by mashing it a little bit, I'm also, any air pockets I might have missed, can you see? It should get them out. It's time for a cup of coffee, because I'm going to actually put the lid on and, oh, I got it backwards. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to let it rise. What in the world? Here we go. I'm going to let it rise about 30 minutes. We're going to peek inside. Doesn't matter that the oven is preheated, because I'm actually going to set this on the stove. It's heavy. But it doesn't mean it won't taste good. Just have you something to drink. It's been 30 minutes, but guys, I'm going to give it another 15. I want it to rise about another ½ inch to an inch before we put it off in the oven. Okay, moment of truth. Oh boy. Well, it didn't rise. Oh boy, I bet that thing weighs 10 pounds. It smells good. Does that count? Oh boy. Well, we're gonna let it cool a minute and flip it out. Guys, it didn't rise much. Told you it was gonna be dense. I could tell by pulling it. And working with only one hand had nothing to do with this. So no, I could use that excuse, well, you know, I'm only working with one. No, that ain't got a doggone thing to do with it. Lippy got to learn Lippy just got to learn. But it smells amazing. But this won't go to waste. I see croutons in the future. Okay, I got to figure out how am I flipping it with one hand. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of work this other hand and just see. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, hang on. That looks right. Oh, that hurt. Okay. You see how it springs back? But I'm not going to cut it. I'm literally going to let it cool. The color and the look is exactly what I expected. Okay. I'm going to slide it to the side. And I'm going to give it a good 30 minutes. Okay, I let it rest 30 minutes. Now we're going to go in and cut it. Oops, let's see if I can do it like this. Now I'm actually going to cut another piece because I want to see. Okay, it's the color that I expected. It is a little dense, not as dense as I thought it was going to be. It is dense, but not as bad as I thought. But here we go. Love the smell. Let's see how it pulls. It's a little tight. Hang on, I got to check my risotto. It's good. Here we go. It doesn't have that wheat taste. It's a little chewy. It's a lot chewy. It's French toast worthy. It's crouton worthy. Yeah, it won't go to waste. But it's dense. I'm not picking up a strong taste. And that's what I was trying to go for. The next one we do will be out of the book. Next week, we're going to do another round using the lecithin. Y'all know what I'm about to call it? The thinning stuff. Because that word just doesn't roll off Lippy's tongue. Because it's supposed to be in Friday. I've got quite a bit of PT visits coming. So, next week, we're going to try it again. If y'all hear that noise, that's that risotto. It's calling my name. But I hope you enjoyed today. It's been a long day, guys. I really put everything into this. And I kept everything in the video. Because this is what it's about. Us learning together and perfecting the best we can make for what our family likes. Now, your family may like a denser bread, a more wheatier, nuttier bread. We like just white bread. I just got to perfect the bread, but the taste is there. The smell is there. So, 2 out of 3. Not so bad. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I got to get to Mr. Buddy's supper.